Making headlines this hour. President Abdulrahman Abdul Qayyum awards employment opportunities to 157 persons with disabilities at several state-owned companies. Bank of Maldives posts strong profits and reaffirms commitment to invest 300 million rupiah in 2017. And 6 people are killed after gunmen opened fire in a Quebec City mosque during evening prayers. Good evening and welcome to Nightly News on Television Maldives with me, Farmat Sara. President Abdulrahman Abdul Qayyum proposes economic prosperity, social harmony as the national theme for 2017. The President has appealed to all state agencies to use the theme within all literature starting from 15th February 2017. President Abdulrahman Abdul Qayyum awards employment opportunities to 157 persons with disabilities at several state-owned companies. First Lady Fatmat Ibrahim accompanied the President at the event held at Darubaruge this morning. 18 companies participated in the administration-driven policy initiative ensuring equal access and further encouraging participation in the national workforce. The initial 157 individuals will be posted across different companies in different regions throughout the country. With the administration's No Child Left Behind education policy focusing on inclusivity, students with disabilities are already a focus of equal opportunity. In 2014, President Yamin made an appeal to the nation to give a special importance to persons with disabilities by opening equal opportunities to integrate them to the public. In order to follow the President's call, several companies such as Fenaka Corporation and State Trading Organization STO initiated a program to integrate employment opportunities for persons with disabilities. In the event held today, Public Service Media PSM also granted employment opportunities to 7 persons with disabilities. Speaking in the event, Deputy Managing Director of PSM Mohammad Ikram said that President Yamin's administration has started a historic initiative and noted that such a program has never been established in the Maldives before. Ikram also noted that the government's initiative to award employment opportunities to persons with disabilities shows that importance given to the entire population of Maldives instead of a selective group of citizens. The Deputy Managing Director of PSM hailed the government's effort as unbiased and impartial and firmly acknowledged the policy focusing on inclusivity of persons with disabilities. The President and the First Lady were also accompanied at today's event by Minister of Gender and Family Amnat Zanisha Shahid Zaki, who said that work is currently being carried out to establish a support system for persons with disabilities to identify the obstacles they face. The Minister also highlighted that the conditions of persons with disabilities has progressed under the current administration and added that a suitable working environment should be established for them. Including the 157 persons with disabilities who were awarded employment opportunities today, the total number has now risen to 267. Public Service Media PSM provides employment opportunities to 7 persons with disabilities under the government's initiative to provide all citizens with equal opportunities. The 7 individuals will be working in Male City and in various media centers of PSM located across the country. The current administration has given a priority to make disabled people important and make them feel part of the community. A total of 31 Island Council members from opposition parties defect to ruling Progressive Party of Maldives, PPM. A ceremony was held today at Darubaruge to hand over membership forms of the council members to PPM. These included members of opposition Maldivian Democratic Party, Jamhuri Party, Adalat Party and some independent members. Speaking at the ceremony, President Abdul Yamin Abdul Qayyum said it is always better to compete in an election as a member representing an active and responsible party, and that this would enable elected members to bring development to islands. He added that development projects across the country would be accelerated if the government were able to secure majority in the local council elections. Speaking at the event, President reiterated the government's commitment in preventing the influence of outsiders in order to ensure that Maldives is a sovereign and an independent country. The government of Maldives says it does not agree with the opinion formulated by the UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention (WGAD) on the submission made by Colonel retired Mohammed Nazim. Nazim was sentenced on March 26, 2015 by criminal court for 11 years imprisonment for illegal possession of firearms. In a statement made today, the government noted that Nazim's trial was conducted as per the relevant laws and regulations governing the criminal justice system in the Maldives. The criminal court sentence was upheld by both High Court and the Supreme Court of the Maldives. In the statement made today, the government said that Maldives is an independent and sovereign state, and it called on everyone concerned to respect the verdicts of the courts of the Maldives. The statement made public by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said that Nazim was detained during the investigative and trial stages as per the Constitution and the relevant laws of the country. It further said that at no stage and at no time to date Nazim lodged a case at a Maldivian court claiming that he was arbitrarily detained during the investigative and trial stages of this case. The government of Maldives additionally called on the WGAD to encourage Nazim to use domestic procedures to exercise his rights to lodge a case to the relevant courts in the Maldives if he is convinced that he was arbitrarily detained. Bank of Maldives reports strong profits and reaffirms commitment to invest 300 million rupiah in 2017.
Bank of Maldives finished 2016 with a strong last quarter and has reaffirmed its commitment to invest 300 million rupiah this year to further expand its presence and support local communities. According to the bank's latest statistics, profit after tax in the fourth quarter of 2016 was 281.8 million rupiah, up 53% on the previous quarter. The statistics also showed healthy business volumes across all key sectors and loan book quality was very robust. BML says capital and liquidity ratios finished the quarter well in excess of regulatory requirements. According to the bank, unaudited figures for the full year show PAT of 1.03 billion rupiah, which is 56% ahead of 2015 and represents the bank's best ever performance. Emphasizing that BML is reinvesting its profits in local communities, CEO and Managing Director Andrew Healy said, with the solid business performance throughout 2016 and particularly the further strengthening of the loan portfolio gave a good platform to invest even more in the communities. He said they will, as promised, invest 300 million rupiah over the course of 2017. He added that investment will include 10 CSR projects and further growth of the bank branches, business centers and ATM networks, which will benefit at least 22 different islands and create 150 new jobs in the process. Andrew commended the bank's employees, thanking them for their hard work in ensuring they finish the year on such a positive note. Finally, Andrew cautioned that 2017 will be a challenging year. He said that with higher funding costs and lower margins, allied to the biggest ever investment program, BML is forecasting lower profitability in 2017. The CEO also said that BML was expecting further growth in business volumes and customers' numbers, and with a strong banking staff, he is optimistic 2017 will be another good year. With a nationwide network of 31 branches across all 20 atolls, 78 ATMs, 4,000 point-of-sale merchants, 190 cash agents, 19 self-service banking centers and 5 Doni bank units, as well as a full suite of digital and online banking services. Bank of Maldives is committed to supporting individuals, businesses and communities across Maldives.
Looking at news from international arena, 6 people are killed after gunmen opened fire in a Quebec City mosque during evening prayers. A witness told Reuters that up to 3 gunmen fired on about 40 people inside the Quebec City mosque. Canadian police put up a security perimeter around the mosque and declined to comment to reporters about the incident. In June 2016, a pig's head was left on the doorstep of the cultural centre. Incidents of Islamophobia increased in Quebec in recent years amid a political debate over banning the niqab or Muslim face covering. Three Chinese tourists on board a boat which sank off Malaysia's Sabah state in North Borneo have been confirmed dead. Malaysian officials and the Chinese Consulate General in Kota Kinabalu said 3 were confirmed dead among the 25 people so far rescued, while 6 people, including 5 Chinese, remain missing. The Chinese tourists who were rescued and the bodies of those who passed away arrived in Kota Kinabalu. A skipper and a crew member were rescued earlier. Rescue work for the 5 missing Chinese and a local crew member continues. Malaysia enhanced its rescue efforts, allocating more rescue equipment and expanding its search scope to the waters of Brunei. Syrian government forces take control of all the towns and villages in Wadi Barada in the west of Damascus.
When the Syrian government announced the recapture of Wadi Barada, the rebels and their families started to evacuate the water-rich area towards Idlib a day after the Syrian army wrested control of the town of Ain Fija in the Barada Valley region. Capturing Ain Fija is crucial for the Syrian government as it contains the Ain Fija spring, the main water source, providing 80% of water use for the capital's over 5 million population. Meanwhile, maintenance workers entered the area to assess the damage. Syrian Arab Army soldiers said the Ain Fija spring and water supply station provide water to Damascus. He said it concerns the whole area of Damascus, so the area is very important. He added that after precise, complicated and difficult action, they recaptured it. The soldier noted that the weather and terrain is way too complicated, so they went through some difficulties. Syrian government forces and militants reached a national reconciliation agreement on Saturday. The Red Crescent was allowed to enter Wadi Barada again. Clashes in this area broke out between Syrian government forces and rebels last December, causing a water supply crisis for 5.5 million people in Damascus for over a month. The Syrian government earlier tried to reach an agreement with the rebels, but that lasted no more than a day. The water supply should resume in the Damascus area soon if the maintenance work goes well.
Fighters and their relatives are preparing to leave their hometown of Syria's Deir Ghanon in the Wadi Barada Valley en route to Idlib as part of an agreement between the rebels and Syrian government forces. The British-based observatory reported that under the agreement, hundreds of rebel fighters began to be bussed out of the area with their families and head for Idlib province, an insurgent stronghold. Video footage obtained by Reuters showed around 20 buses parked in Deir Ghanon, ready to transport the rebels and their relatives who were already abroad. Members of the Syrian Army and Syrian Red Crescent were checking lists of passengers. Some of the buses pulled away later on Sunday night, although army officials had earlier said they were to set off to Idlib at dawn. Philippines lawmakers are racing to pass a bill lowering the age of criminal liability from 15 to 9 in an effort to crack down on drug syndicates using teenagers to commit crimes and evade imprisonment.
14-year-old Brian said looking behind the windows grills of a government-run juvenile center on the outskirts of Manila. Not wanting to reveal his real name, Brian was arrested by the police during a drug raid in September and was required to stay at the government's House of Hope for a year. Life was not bad, he says, because he was being taken care of by social workers and was taught lessons like a regular child. They hold daily gatherings and are encouraged to share their stories without being judged by others. But that condition could change when a bill lowering the criminal liability of children is passed into law. Lawmakers are rushing to pass a bill which lowers the criminal liability of minors from 16 to as young as 9 years old. Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte claims that many syndicates are using children and teenagers to commit crimes and are being used as drug mules. That bill could affect Brian and will give him a criminal record even if he desires to change. Duterte, a former crime-busting mayor in southern Philippines, has vowed to eradicate drugs in the country. Police data between July 1st to August 28 this year showed that more than 20,000 people below 18 have surrendered to authorities for possessing narcotics. Since taking office on June 30th, more than 5,000 people have been killed in his drug war. Police say 2,004 have been killed by officers in self-defense, with another 3,060 killings are under investigation. Human rights groups say those in the latter groups were extrajudicial killings.
Thousands of protesters rally for the second consecutive day in New York City after U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order Friday temporarily barring all refugees and 7 Middle Eastern and North African country citizens from entry into the U.S.
Countries included in the executive order temporarily banning entry to U.S. are Iraq, Syria, Iran, Sudan, Libya, Somalia and Yemen. These are the so-called countries with terrorism concerns by U.S. President Donald Trump. The protesters chanted slogans and hoisted signs like "No hate, no fear," "New York is welcoming immigrants," "Bridges not walls," near Battery Park. Some said that Trump's refugee ban is anti-American and unconstitutional, a dangerous move that may rip the U.S. society apart.
Protest the proposed ban on immigration and refugees from Muslim countries because it's anti-American and unconstitutional to discriminate against people of a certain religion.
Protesters were not only against Trump's views on immigrants, but also against his views on women as well as other issues, saying that they stand for a united people instead of a divided people. One day earlier, protesters gathered at John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York to demonstrate against the ban. A federal judge in New York on Saturday night granted an emergency stay temporarily, halting the removal of people who, though with previously approved refugee applications or with valid visas, had been detained following Trump's refugee and immigration order. Meanwhile, Canadian Immigration Minister Ahmed Hussein says Canada will offer temporary residency to people stranded in the country as a result of U.S. President Donald Trump's executive order on immigration.
We will continue to ensure that our immigration system is about compassion, efficiency, and economic opportunity, and the protection of the health, safety, and security of Canadians. We welcome those fleeing persecution, terror, and war.
While Canada is considering its policy options, the government does not plan to withdraw from the Safe Third Party Agreement with the United States at this time, Hussein said. The agreement requires refugees to make a claim in whichever country they arrive in first, meaning they cannot land in the United States and then try to claim asylum in Canada or vice versa.
Indian President Pranab Mukherjee leads the nation in paying tribute to iconic freedom fighter Mahatma Gandhi on his 69th death anniversary.
Indian President Pranab Mukherjee led the nation in paying tribute to iconic freedom fighter Mahatma Gandhi on his 69th death anniversary on Monday. Indian Vice President Hamid Ansari and Prime Minister Narendra Modi also paid tributes to the man when rated across India as father of the nation at his memorial, Rajghat in New Delhi. Situated on the bank of river Yamuna, the memorial stands at the spot where Gandhi was cremated after his assassination in January 1948. The leaders offered flowers at the memorial and circumambulated it as a mark of respect to Gandhi, fondly known as Bapu, father. A special interfaith prayer service was also held on the occasion, which was led by religious leaders from various faiths. Gandhi was born on October 2, 1869 in Porbandar in Gujarat. A lawyer by profession, he led the struggle for India's independence from the British. On January 30, 1948, he was shot dead by a Hindu fanatic, Nathuram Godse, less than a year after India gained its freedom. He was against the caste system that had strong roots in the Indian society and worked to remove it. Gandhi often stressed on the unity of Muslim and Hindu communities in India. He was also against aggression and propagated ahimsa or non-violence. In fact, his non-violent movement is said to have inspired American civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr., South African anti-apartheid icon Nelson Mandela, and exiled Tibetan leader the Dalai Lama. Gandhi's ideologies still continue to be followed the world over. His statues can be found across the country, and nearly every town has at least one street named after him.
And a quick look at sports. Jose Mourinho's Manchester United East Pass Championship side began Athletic 4-0 in the FA Cup on Sunday.
The game started slowly at Old Trafford, with United struggling to break through a compact defence from second-tier side Wigan. Henrik Mkhitaryan had the best chance in the opening half hour when he met Timothy Fosu-Mensah's low cross, only to fire over from close range. The pressure finally proved too much for Wigan just before the half-time, when United's Belgium midfielder Marouane Fellaini met Bastian Schweinsteiger's cross with a header past Belgium goalkeeper Jakub Hogard. Wigan were presented with an opening early in the second half when Sergio Romero palmed a cross into the path of David Perkins, who shot straight at the Argentine keeper to spare him embarrassment. United dominated for the rest of the game, with Anthony Martial providing 2 assists for Chris Smalling and Mkhitaryan. A fourth goal was added in the 80th minute when Bastian Schweinsteiger improvised a bicycle kick inside the area. The result means United now move on to the 5th round of the FA Cup, where 2 non-league sides, Lincoln and Sutton, will be present.
Roger Federer celebrated his fairy tale victory and his 18th Grand Slam title at the Men's Australian Tennis Open Championship Trophy in Melbourne on Monday. Federer won his Grand Slam title in 5 years on Sunday, overcoming Rafael Nadal in a 5-set final, winning 6-4, 3-6, 6-1, 3-6, 6-3. He climbed to 10th in the rankings after his win and said it was his self-belief when he had been trailing 3-1 in the final set that had helped him to victory. With that, that's it for now. Stay tuned for updates of recent country stories here on Television Motives. Thank you for joining us. Wish you a pleasant evening. Good night.